Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today we're going to talk with Shona Kerr. She is part of the ownership team of the newly formed Austin Ignite of the newly formed National Pickleball League, starting play this summer at Chicken and Pickle. So check them out. But first, before we get to that interview, if you like this content, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. We really appreciate it. Check out the links in the description for merch, shoe discounts, paddle discounts, all the above. All right, let's get to that conversation with Shona Kerr. Hey, let's welcome Shona Kerr, part of the ownership team for the Austin Ignite, the newly formed National Pickleball League. Welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report, Shona.
Thanks so much, Mike. It is a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, I start with everybody's pickleball journey, and you're no exception. So talk to me a little bit about how this goofy wiffle ball game has taken over your life. And by the way, it led to you being part ownership of a professional team. So,
yeah, I think we all have our pickleball journey, and mine started predictably, as a lot of others did, in the pandemic. And I couldn't find people to play tennis with me anymore, so I took up pickleball and met just a wonderful bunch of people. My background was in squash, which I couldn't play squash because indoors in the pandemic, that just wasn't realistic.
Right.
And this wiffle ball thing hooked me. So, ever since then, and I worked through rec leagues, and you level up as you go, and you meet multiple people as you go, and it's wild to think that I'm sitting here with you right now as an owner of an MPL team. So it's crazy.
Right, absolutely. So how did that come about? I mean, it's an Austin team. Are you from Austin?
I'm not from Austin. The accent may give it away.
Right.
London originally, but I am now living in Connecticut.
Okay.
The Austin team, there are actually 5 owners on the Austin team, which is slightly different model. The other teams all of them have 2 owners. We have 5. Okay. So, and we're scattered across the country. One of our owners, Steve Unger, he is in Austin, and we felt that we would base it there because of him.
Right.
He's our man on the ground. And then there's myself and 2 others, Scott Trevethan and Rob Kropel, and they are both in Connecticut. And then DK Ajiri is in Ohio. So we're spread out, which I think actually has worked to our benefit, because we have connections in different parts of the country. And as you know, the draft just happened and was announced with the members of the teams. And I think having that combined knowledge probably helped us in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine it hurt. I mean, having you spread about and getting to see different people at different places. Let's talk about, prior to the draft, they had a combine. Obviously, there are some players who are well known, who are going to be drafted because they have, won consistently or been on the podium consistently in the champions division of pickleball. But there's plenty of people out there who can really play, who aren't necessarily touring pros. So talk about the combine and having, all these participants really vying for spots on these teams. And what was that like?
So I think the combine was a much bigger success than anybody had realized it was going to be. And there were maybe 100 people came out and tried out for the opportunity to be drafted onto these teams. And regardless of if those people were drafted or not, at the combine, there was such a sense of community, and people were finding different partners they wanted to partner up with in different parts of the country. And I think it started a little bit of a movement that was missing in terms of, the Champions League players, 50 plus players going to tournaments, wanting to play more, wanting to connect. Maybe tournament draws were a little sparse or they got rained out. Right. And bringing that number of people together in the 50 plus age group was, some were equating it to being somewhat spiritual, but just, so even if those players weren't ultimately drafted, I think it was very special for people to realize that there are so many others out there playing and passionate and really want to be part of this. So we consider them all the NPL family at this point. And it couldn't have gone better. And then, obviously some of those players were indeed drafted to the teams, and those who weren't drafted, there will be more teams added next year. And we're very much hoping that it will be inclusive enough that, those players that didn't make it this year will have a spot.
Right. I have obviously plenty of people to choose from. And as you build your teams over the years,
Yes.
If it wasn't spiritual, it was definitely historical to bring all those 50 plus players together from all over the country, and people obviously internationally came as well, which was incredible, and got drafted. So really, really cool. And I want to touch on what you said. It feels to me that just from paying attention to the senior game, because that's what I do, it's very communal. And I see that this sort of league is really just kind of expanding that feel to just more people in more places. So maybe touch a little bit about what, the experience that you've had just interacting with this particular age group.
I think what I've seen as we now know who our team is, and getting to know the different team members, their backgrounds are incredibly impressive. Yeah. And I think bringing, we from pickleball club owners to paddle brand owners to people who have won intercollegiate singles tennis championships to coaching, world-renowned tennis players to every gamut. It's just as we're starting to get to know these players, it's just their resumes are astounding. And so to bring that together in one place is just, I think it's going to be incredibly powerful. And I'm watching different teaching pros out there that have signed up for the league, and then they're comparing their notes and how can they expand pickleball and what are the models to do it well and involve people. Just to see that connectivity, I think, can only help the game. As these are things that I didn't anticipate going in, but it's been, overjoyed to see as this is unfolding.
Yeah. And it's exciting to hear that because I know a lot of work and a lot of effort went into this in a very short period of time just to pull off the combine and the draft and get the league organized and ready to go in June. So let's get to the draft. I mean, I kind of tapped in on the live stream for a while, and somebody was carrying me around to tables and saying it's sleeves, and everybody was excited to be there. You could tell, and just the announcement of the players, and a fair amount of players that were drafted were on hand, which was really cool. So talk about the draft and the draft party, the atmosphere, and then we'll get into your team a little bit.
I mean, I didn't know what to expect with the draft party. I booked my ticket and I picked an outfit and off I went. And to see the room packed and full, again, the energy was just palpable. Just to see, I mean, what's giving me so much joy and appreciation for getting involved in this is to see what that meant to those players to be drafted to a team. Yeah. And to see what that team aspect is going to bring. Now, individual tournaments are wonderful. We all do them. We love them. Yeah. But to give this different concept of how to come together and compete, I did not know how meaningful this was going to be to people. I mean, this has been literally life-changing. Yeah. And to keep, like I was saying, the players with such storied resumes, they are current, they are relevant, they have so much to share. Their skills are brilliant. Yeah. And to watch them come together, they were so happy. Watching people as their names were announced and they didn't know which team, they didn't know if, I mean, it was special. I really never been part of anything like that. It was moving.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch it. You could feel it even on the live stream. Like,
really, that's wonderful.
Just the joy in the room and the excitement and the camaraderie. It was a really, really cool looking event. So let's talk about your team, because from what I could tell, just the feeling in the room and the comments that were made is y'all killed the draft. Austin Ignite drafted really, really well. So talk about a little bit, what your prep was as a group, and talk about some of the players you have. Obviously, the Anna Shirleys, the Reese's, the Crandalls, legends like Dawson. So talk a little bit about your process, and then some of the people that you ended up drafting.
Absolutely. So I think this is where having 5 owners really came into play.
Right.
And having different parts of the country covered, different. So we all have different friends we could reach out to. If we didn't know the players on the draft list, we could find somebody who did know. One of my fellow owners, Scott Trevethan, actually spent a lot of time on the phone talking to each of the players and trying to figure out what they were looking for in a team. And we really went for, we wanted solid character in our players.
Right.
We wanted players that were going to represent Austin Ignite with pride, and we wanted a class act team.
Yeah.
So we did some homework, and then as we talked to some of the better players, Scott Crandall in particular, who's on our team, was extremely helpful. We figured within our draft position that he was going to be available. We talked to him. We hoped anyway. We talked to him. It seemed like a really good fit. We then said, who would you work well with? Who else would fit this model that we're looking for? And we sort of tiered it in groups. And we knew sort of within each group, within roughly who was going to get picked first, who would be available to us, who was going to be picked second, who would we want between these players. And we just worked our way down. Yeah. And I think we got a little bit lucky. The players we wanted were mainly sitting there. Everybody says that we crushed it in the draft, but the other people didn't pick the players, so they were there for us. There's a little bit of that to it as well. But I do think the homework was well worth it. The actual process of the draft itself was wild, very, very hectic. As we're scrambling and we have 2 minutes per choice, and is it this player? And I don't know if people know, but you have to have a super senior woman and a super senior male on the team, and then there were a group of people that were in a special category, and you had to have one of those. So there were requirements as you went. So you have to sort of, as the draft was happening, make sure that you were fulfilling those
and where to put them.
The players you want.
And where to pick those in the draft.
New paddle company, Pickle, PCKL, great paddle line, great price points. Anything you want from starter paddle to intermediate to a pro series high level paddle. Check them out. Get 15% off using my discount code. Pickle. It's the future.
Are you looking to stay up to date on the latest pickleball news and tips? Look no further than the Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report newsletter. Get the scoop on the sport, learn how to stay healthy while playing, and find out about upcoming tournaments. Subscribe now to get all the pickleball info you need.
Exactly. So it was a thing. And I don't know, we got lucky. What can I say?
Yeah, well, a brilliant start there, because I think what you did was really smart. Getting Scott Crandall, who I've interviewed, is a great guy. Obviously, broadcasts a lot of pickleball and sees a great deal of pickleball, and has to analyze it on the spot. So he's got a ton of knowledge, not only as a player, but somebody who watches it and looks for things in players. Plus, he probably knows nearly everyone if you're a broadcaster. Or they know of him. So really kind of great move to lean on him, because obviously your draft, and it's not easy, obviously, picking that many individuals. It's one thing for MLP to pick like 4 and then a reserve or 2, but when you got to pick like 4 teams of people and see if they can mesh, having never really seen them all play together. And I get it, as the years go by, this will all adjust and you'll figure things out. But on paper, man, wow, great job.
Yeah, well, the pressure's on now. And I think we took a tact also. I think a lot of teams went with the strategy to pick the women first. And I think we knew that was going to happen. So we went with picking a male first.
Yeah.
And then picking the best females we could.
Yeah.
After
and you got great females.
We got lucky with that too. Anna Shirley's amazing. Chris Carges is amazing.
Chris Carges, right. I was like, holy cow.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right on. So talk a little bit about the upcoming season. So we've had the combine, pretty cool. The draft, obviously, really cool. And now the season in about 6 to 8 weeks in early June. Talk about, besides wins and losses, because you don't know how things are going to work out. But talk about some of the maybe excitement or expectations you have about, the 6 events and culminating obviously in Glendale, Arizona in October at the end of the season championship. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think we're at this, everything is happening so fast right now that we're at the stage of making sure, checking everybody's availability for the weekends first. So let's see which players we can use on each weekend. And then there are rules about how much you have participated to be able to qualify for that championship weekend. Okay. So we're very much working on making sure that the players will be eligible, that need to be eligible. And,
it's a lot of work
we're
here.
excited for all of it, but
yeah.
we're in the weeds. We're in the weeds a little bit. We're excited for every weekend, and I think we're, with the help of our teammates, trying to figure out who would be best to play on the different weekends, who's available, how to match that up.
Yeah.
Who are our mixed teams, who plays better with each other.
Right.
Who's our 1 doubles women, 3 doubles women.
Yeah.
So we're in the weeds of that. I think once we get that a little bit more solidified, we can start to get a little bit more into the process of competing and coaching and being ready for the actual events themselves. So It's very much, don't get me wrong, we are thrilled, but there are some logistical aspects that we're working through before, I guess, at least I'm ready to unleash the full beast of this.
Absolutely. The learning curve on some levels is pretty immense considering the time period you have to work in. Yes. You become owner of a team, you go to a combine, you got to figure out how to draft. You're meeting a bunch of new people that are your ownership team. Then you make a draft. Then you got to figure out everything you just talked about. And you got to do it through 6 events. And each event, I guarantee, and you know this already, you're going to learn something probably pretty significant.
Right.
Oh, we'll either A, do that, or B, not do that again next time around or next event. So I think part of that's the fun though. This year's kind of the Wild West, so to speak, of figuring out what's going to work. And obviously, logistics and rules and strategy will change as the league develops. But the first year, I think those were a lot of the stories will be remembered.
Yeah, we're learning on the fly. So again, we're leaning on our team quite a lot because of the collective knowledge that they have, and the Anna Shirleys and the Chris Carges and Steve Dawson is a brilliant mind that we're putting to work to try and figure out how these matchups go. And as you mentioned, the teams are large, so we're going in competing each weekend with 14 players. Yeah. How do you mix and match that for the best effect? So we're going to figure it out somehow.
Yeah, very exciting. Let's talk a little bit about your colors and the logo and the team name and how that came about.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was certainly a large part me.
I like it. I love it. I really do.
The name came first, and I actually went and did a chat GBT AI search.
Right on. Yeah, smart.
Power words. And I was really thinking about, this is a new concept, it's a new league. I think as owners, between the 5 of us, we like to be on the ground level and really get things ignited and to ground level, get it going. So
get it going.
Ignite felt right. It also felt, I was thinking through, let's say we were the Austin Destroyers. I didn't really want a name where they're commentating and they're saying, well, Austin's not really destroying today. So I wanted it to be
good,
neutral enough and positive and powerful enough. So Ignite felt right, and the team owners sort of agreed, and that's what we gravitated to. And then from there, my partner Bill actually was really helpful. He's a graphic designer, and
there you go.
Very much helped with the logo. But between us, we went through different ideas. What does Ignite say? And you can just about see behind me, but we ended up, is it a flame? So we went with a pickleball with a spark.
Love it.
That's how that came about. So it seems to have gone down quite well. People seem to like it. So we're quite happy.
Yeah, it looks great. And hey, by the way, you're the first one that I've interviewed of the owners that has the team background deal going. So you're on point.
All right. Nice. And we've been happily actually giving out hats to our players So they came out pretty good on the hat too.
Oh, they came out great.
They've been proudly wearing them around the US Open, which has been, very unifying to start the team bonding process.
Yeah, I mean, really great idea, and the organizers to have the draft right down there with the US Open starting.
That was brilliant.
By the way, tons of people in the league winning and being on the podium doesn't hurt. Really, really brilliant move. Okay, finally, let's talk about, the venue here for these events this season, Chicken and Pickle. And I always tell people, if you have never seen professional pickleball at any level, doesn't matter if it's open pro or 50 plus or super senior, to see something in person is a different feel and a different vibe, and you get an idea of the talent level of the people that are playing. And then to put it in a restaurant feel that has, drinks and food and other games and this really cool vibe atmosphere. I can't think of really a better partnership for this league than like Chicken and Pickle. And so, you were there obviously for the combine. So talk about the venue and your thoughts about going forward this season there.
I mean, again, I think it's another brilliant move, and you're familiar with the Chicken and Pickle venues. And if you haven't seen one, you have to. There's no really describing how great it is. And just to provide a venue for a true event that you can go, you can spend the day, you can grab a bite to eat, you can go play some cornhole, you can move around, watch the different players that you want to see. You can see it close up, which I think makes such a difference. It is night and day. We're so lucky to be able to watch so much footage on YouTube and being live streamed, but to be close up and see the physical effort and to hear the ball spin in the air and
whistle by.
exactly. And so, that opportunity is there for many people at these venues. And I think the nice thing too about the Chicken and Pickle venues is that the courts we'll be using are covered, so there'll be no rainouts.
Right.
I think for a lot of the senior pros, it can be tough. They go to events, it gets rained out. It's almost a no-brainer that we can really make it an absolute first-rate event for anybody that wants to come and see high-level pickle. The food is great. They can probably even get out there. There are outdoor courts too and hit a few balls themselves.
Right.
While being inspired by the players that are competing. So it's perfect. And big thank you to Chicken and Pickle for partnering with the MPL.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't say it better myself at the end there. It is a really, really good partnership. I'm excited to see it. National Pickleball League starting this June, culminating in the championships in October in Glendale, Arizona, at a brand new Chicken and Pickle that's opening this month. Thank you, Shona Kerr, for the Austin Ignite. Great draft, by the way, again, and good luck this season. And looking forward to meeting you in person. So
I can't wait, Mike. I can't wait. We'll get on court.
Hope you enjoyed our conversation with Shona Kerr of the Austin Ignite ownership team. Get out there, support pickleball any way you can. NPL playing all over the place this summer at Chicken and Pickles. Check out their schedule. Link in the description as well. All right. Hey, let's pickle.
Hey, if you're looking for very, very comfortable court shoes, in fact, the most comfortable court shoes I've ever worn, and I've worn a lot of them over the years playing different sports, try Fitville. We have a link in the description that gets you $20 off your purchase.